Flossy friends, it's Shawnamarie and I am back. I haven't done a video since spring. I got sidetracked with 2020 coronavirus, gardening over the summer and camping, and that was pretty much what we did all summer. Camped, pulled the yard out, pulled all my grass out, put in garden boxes, and just working on the yard and doing all that summery stuff that you do. And then when fall hit, we decided that we were getting too old to sleep on the ground, and we decided to buy a conversion van like a lot of people are doing. And so we bought a 1995, don't ask me, van, and pulled the guts out and put in a bed frame with some drawers, and have been just slowly poking at that. That's kind of been my husband's project, with me making some cute curtains and bedspread and stuff like that to go with it. And maybe later, sometime later, I don't know when, I will show you that. Maybe I'll put a picture of the van in right now. We also bought an RV, a used RV that we're going to be kind of updating the inside, and so we're excited about that and look forward to using it next spring. We took the van this summer at the tail end when we were still camping, and it was nice. It was nice to have everything in the van and not have to keep packing up my baby Prius to the brim and do that every other weekend. It was nice just to be able to leave things in the van and not have to pack everything up, which, I mean, we don't take a lot, but by the time you take your clothes and stuff to cook and all that, it's just easier to have it in one spot. And so I do look forward to using that next year. Once the fall weather rolled around and things kind of died down outside and I pulled my garden, I started thinking more along the lines of stitching. And I think at that point that I just kind of started to feel a little bit anxious due to just everything that's going on. And we've had some family problems with just family problems with kids and stuff. And so I started stitching, because stitching for me apparently is therapy, because there's something about the action of putting that needle and thread together that just kind of calms my mind, and everything just it doesn't go away, but it just relaxes my brain so that all I have to do is just focus on the stitching. And so that's really worked well. This is my cute hat that my mom made me. You saw it last year if you've seen my first or second, I don't remember, videos. And I'm actually going to take it off because inside it's extremely warm. And so we'll just set this over here. In fact, the last year at this time, I was showing you this because I had finished my daughter's stocking that I had started probably when she was in junior high. And so here's her cute little stocking, and she wants to know if she's ever getting it back because she made the mistake of letting me borrow it for something, I can't remember what, and she never got it back. It just got packed with all the Christmas stuff. And so I'm going to fill it up for her again this year, and she can take it home, and I promise I won't take it back from her. She's probably been wondering. And the other thing that I showed you last year that I did, which I had to pull off the wall, is this. This is a Twin Peaks piece. It's called Believe. I did it in the Call for Colors, I think. I think I might have brightened up the flower. But other than that, it's just done in the Call for Colors, and then I mounted it on this platter that I had found at DI, which is like Goodwill and other places. And so that was just my fun little Christmas stitches last year. And this year I don't have any Christmas stitches, but I do have a couple things that I finished. One of them is this. I know that the season is past, but it's so cute, and it is something I actually finished. I did it as a flat fold. I watched Ivana Pfeiffer's videos, tutorials, and it is Brenda Gervais wordplay. None of the Call for Colors. Her colors are a little too muted for me. And so I just went ahead and changed all those out. I literally would grab a handful, 10 minutes before we walked out the door and just took it with me camping, and just for something to stitch and something that I thought that I could work on without a magnifier or all the accoutrement that I seem to gather at my stitching chair. And so yeah, it was fun. And I got this cute little pom-pom trim from Lady Dot, which I love. Love, 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 love. I could spend a lot of money at her shop. Anyway, this was my October one. And I actually got November done as well. Again, not the called for colors. A lot of them were on the last one. I think the pumpkin color stayed and a couple of the browns, but then I just picked some other ones and yeah, just made it into another flat fold. This is fabric from an old set of curtains and napkins that I had made 100 years ago. It seems like 100 years ago. And so that got finished also into a flat fold, and that was fun. I started December's, which I saw earlier. It's in this little bag. I think it's in this little bag. It is. And I didn't finish it because one day I got frustrated with the threads. Because again, I didn't do the call for colors. I did pick out colors that I thought that I would like, and I don't. My greens are just too bright for me, and then somehow right there, even though it's the same number, it must have been a different dye lot because my Santa, his clothes are different colors, and so it just kind of bothers me. So I may or may not finish that. The colors may not bother me as much once I move along and get more of it on there. I haven't decided. Anyway, it kind of got, you know how things go when they're not working out well. You just kind of go, eh, and set it off to the side. And that's what I did with this one. So it may or may not get finished in December. Maybe. Because I am working on something for January for, yeah, I just have another project going for January. And so let's just, oh, nope, I do have one more finish. This was one that I was working on, I think the last time that I did a video back in the beginning of March. 100 Ways Plum Street Sampler. I loved it. I thought that my daughter-in-law would love it. And so I tried to stitch it up for her birthday. But as usual, I am extremely slow and did not stitch it up for her birthday. So it is done, and I did frame it, and so she will get it. But I've been hanging on to it because of this. I thought before I give it to her, I would like to actually show you the finished piece. And so here it is, and I thought it turned out really nice. I love it. I used the called for colors. The fabric is 18 count Aida that I put into a, I guess you could call it dye, Rit dye. It was mostly water with like 2 or 3 little drips, and I mean drips of red. And I gave it just a titch of pink so that it wasn't completely white. And yeah, so I got it all framed. I even like did the back. It had nice lacing on it. Yeah, if you saw any of my earlier videos, the first thing I laced, yeah, embarrassing. But this one is lovely should anybody ever decide to take it apart and look at the back. But hopefully they don't do that. And along those lines, because that's all my finishes for the last 8 months, I did start the same 100 ways over because I would like one, and I did it a little bit different. So I didn't do pink fabric this time, I just did white, and I think I'm using the same colors, but I changed the border on it. So there's where I'm at. And instead of just doing a single line border, I did this double border, which I'm kind of grooving on. And I think that because it's just kind of my personality, and I have so many of them since my mother left me all of hers, beads, I'm debating putting little teeny tiny seed beads in here. I can't decide. We shall see as things progress along. But that's where I am on that one. Then the other thing that I've been working on, and I didn't, it's on my iPad, but I joined the Peppermint Purple Sal, which is a blackwork pattern that she has up each month. And this is where I'm at on that. I've been working on the border because I can work on the border without really the pattern since it's repetition. And so sometimes I will stitch on this at night. And these were the colors I chose. It's just a DMC variegated floss in some of these places, and then the colors, I pulled the other colors, the blues and the pinks and the greens out of that. And so I'm obviously behind as usual, but that's okay. I'm working along at my own pace. One of the other things I've been working on, which I just thought, I kind of went nuts when I started things. I decided that I needed to do something that screamed, oh yes, this is going to be okay. 2020 was a challenge for a lot of people and for us too. And so I started this one, which is Real Comfort by Jacob DeGraff, Modern Folk Embroidery. There's nothing like staying at home for real comfort. And at the time that I started it, it just really spoke peace to me. And so here's where I am on that. And I just picked random colors. I have gray, and I picked this tealy it's showing up a lot darker on screen. Anyway, like aqua blue and this pink, and so I'm, yeah, just working on that randomly. I don't have a schedule or anything. It's just kind of as the mood hits me. I haven't even touched this one, Glitter Village. I finished this, and that was about as far as that went. I don't know why, because it was one of my favorite things, and it was on my list of things to do for 2020, but it hasn't been touched. It's been replaced by other things. I'm also working on Jacob's The Modern Folk Embroidery Sal, and it's still in my frame, and it's very crinkly because it's been in a bag. And this is where I'm at on that. And this one I really am behind, because I would like to finish it. I love the colors that I chose. They tend to be some of my favorites, the gold and burgundy and navy. And so I would like to get that finished. But the thing that's been taking up the most of my time, oops, I lied. There was one more. This pattern, I got this unicorn tapestry by Tiny Modernista, because I love unicorns. I have since high school. I don't know why. It's just kind of a silly thing for me, but I do love them. And I thought this was such a fun pattern and kind of out of my wheelhouse. It's not the normal thing that I would select. And so I started this. I don't think it was on the same fabric that's recommended, which is Mediterranean Seat. I picked something that was a little bit different. And I darkened up this and these because I'm not a fan of orange. But I think it's turning out okay. Like I said, I had a lot of starts. I just kind of went through a thing where I needed to have a start. And this is actually Riviera. And there's where I'm at on that. Yeah, and I kind of like it with the red hair and the red flag. I think it looks okay. Hopefully I won't have to change too many of the other colors. In fact, I don't plan on changing the other colors. I just plan on changing the oranges out to the red. So that works well. Then the other two things that have been keeping me busiest this recently are these two things. So I decided after all these years, because I still love it, as I was looking through the Crossstitch and Country Craft magazine, that I want this stocking. And so I am stitching this stocking for me for next Christmas. Except for, because of course I can't do anything just by the pattern. I decided that since I'm not a huge quilter, that I was going to pull out this quilt. I do have a featherweight, I do have a stand, and so I decided to pull out this quilt, which then also meant I was pulling out these samplers. And I am replacing it with, here, let me find my working copy. I'm replacing it with this window right here, which is out of one of the other stockings. And so, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'm putting the window in there, and I'm putting the nativity up there out of that other stocking and not the dolls. And then we'll see what I decide to keep down here. But right now, here is where I'm at on that. Get all my threads off of it. So I have the cuff done and the window. And then I'm working on the garland up here, because there was a nativity on it in the girl's stocking, and I'm going to move that over to on top of the cabinet, and so I'm just going to put garland up here with nothing else. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. And this has been a fun stitch because my girlfriend is also stitching this for her daughter, because she stitched the whole entire series for her children. And on her daughters, because she's a big seamstress, right here, instead of this, she is putting a dressmaker form. So it's been fun. It's been fun to do something with a friend, and I've enjoyed that. So it's been nice. And then the last project that I am currently working on is the one that's taking the majority of my time. It's also out of Crossstitch and Country Crafts. It's the May-June 1990 issue. And I am making this whitework sampler because it's beautiful. And my niece, whom I adore, said that she thought it was beautiful, which she never wants anything. And she didn't even say she wanted this. She just said it was beautiful. And I asked her, you know, if I was going to stitch something for you, what would you want? And she would be, well, it would be something like this, because she really liked the white on white. And this is, I think it's cream on cream, which is what I ended up doing hers in. And so that is what I am currently working on, because her birthday is the end of January. At first I thought Christmas, but yeah, that's not happening because I still have a ways to go. So, and this is where I'm at. So, and I've stitched this part 3 times because I had some gigantic counting error and it ended up being like up here and I was already down here. So everything had to come out. And then I did that twice. Like I stitched this, restitched it, then this side didn't line up. Yeah, it was just, it's been a challenge, but I really enjoy it. I learned how to do, let's see, this one's my first one. Alger Eyelet, which that one doesn't look so good because it was my very, very first, but look at it, the other ones look so cute. I did good, I did good. I learned. And so I've learned how to do those and satin stitch, and I've worked in pearl cotton. It's done in pearl cotton and DMC. And it was supposed to have some ribbon here, 1/16 inch ribbon, but I just could not lay my hands on any. So I just did rice stitch all the way across and put the beads on that. And so that's where that is today, and that's my biggest thing that I'm working on. And this is my very sparkly fun snowflake needle minder that was a pin that I just loved that my dad gave me. Every Christmas my dad and mom would give us a Christmas pin to wear on our jackets, our coats. And I love this one, and I want to see it all the time, and it reminds me of my parents. And so I turned it into a needle minder that hangs out on my threads on my projects. And so that's what I'm working on. Like, I needed more projects to add to the pile of projects that I have in this craft room. But that's just kind of me. Gotta always have something to do. Over the course of time, of course, I couldn't, even though I went months without stitching, it's not like I didn't accumulate quite a bit of stuff. But I'm not going to share everything with you. I'm just going to share the 3 that once I get this whitework sampler and the 100 ways done, that maybe I'll start these. And one of them is, here, let me pull it out of the sleeve. All my patterns are in 3-ring binders, alphabetical by designer. This Pink Hill Manor, I just love it because I love pink and I love houses. So it's a pink house, which means I just thought it was adorable. And it looks very Valentine-y to me. And so I'm going to be stitching that, and hopefully the plan is, I saw how my plans went last year, to get it done by Valentine's Day. And then the other one that I would like to work on to get done by Valentine's Day is a Plum Street Sampler, Sweetheart Hill. I Belong With You, which I just thought was cute. Cute, and I love the sentiment, and I would love to see it hanging on my wall next to Pink Hill Manor. So we'll see how good I am with that. And then another one that I have kitted up actually is this one by Plum Street Sampler, Judge Not, That Ye Be Not Judged. And I just think those sheep are just so fun. I don't know if it'll focus on them, but I just love it. I love the fact that each sheep is a different pattern and color. I just think that's adorable and apropos for the time. So that's something that I've acquired. And then most recently, I acquired Ann Morrison because I love the colors in these. Just love the colors. And I have my fabric, and no, I did not start it on December 5th, but maybe I'll start it after whitework, or maybe on Christmas Day. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate your time and hope that you will stop back another time, and I will try to be more consistent in doing these. I actually have some other things going on that I thought about doing a video about, because when my mom came out last year, she brought me, one of the other things I like to do is wool work, and so she brought me out her wool. And when I say she brought me out her wool, I mean she brought me out her wool. And she doesn't have like a little bit of wool. She has gigantic pile of wool. When I put it in boxes to put on the shelf, it took 20 some boxes. So it's a little bit of wool. And I, have had issues trying to find a place to put it. So maybe you guys can come up with a better idea, because if you do wool applique, you know that you only generally use little tiny pieces, little small pieces. You're not using, honking pieces like that. So I have a lot of wool, and we'll probably have more wool than I can use in my lifetime. Anyway, it's been fun talking to you. I like listening to everybody and hearing about what's going on in their lives and seeing what they're working on. And I want to see you again next time. So happy stitching, and I will see you later. Bye.